Hi everyone and welcome back to a new Kinesiologs podcast. My name is Alexandre and before anything I'd like to say that we are truly sorry for those who have posted some comments on YouTube and we never replied to them. We're really sorry because we never got notified about this and now the issue is now fixed, so good, and you can now post comments. And in today's podcast we'll talk about speech and sound schemes in JAWS. This is a functionality allowing to change how commands and controls, states of commands are pronounced, or you can use this functionality in order to quickly navigate a document and hear the formatting with different voice. So let's say that you want to hear with a special voice the text marked in red, you can do it. So I'll be with you to explain to you how to create your own schemes to better navigate document and application. Enjoy and happy holidays! Speech sound schemes are available in JAWS since many versions and they can help you finding some information in a text. They can also help you rename some controls, commands and things like this. So today we'll talk about them, and the speech sound scheme allow to change like the way that some element will be pronounced. You can also, instead of getting some speech feedback when browsing, you can also assign sound to some elements. So we'll discuss about this into this podcast. I am currently using JAWS 2020, which is the latest version of the software when recording this podcast. In order to edit sound schemes, speech and sound schemes, well, you'll need to go into the settings centers of JAWS. You can even access it by going into JAWS Utilities menu, then Settings Centers, or you can also just press Insert 6 and make sure to select the default file. And then I'll show you how to create a sound schemes, and we'll do some interesting modification inside of it. So there we go. Let me go into my JAWS. There we go. Then let me press Insert 6. It's going to be easier.
JAWS window JAWS settings center dialog. Search bar.
Okay, now I am into the JAWS setting window setting file. I'm not going to edit this one. I'll select the default one by pressing Ctrl-Shift-D as in Delta or default.
JAWS settings center default left paren all applications right paren. Edit.
Here we go. Then let me press tab to go into the tree view.
Settings tree view. User closed. 1 of 25. To move through all.
Here we go. And before anything, I'll first show you how it is possible to create a voice alias. Why? Because we'll use them later on in our speech and sound scheme. Why a voice alias? Because you can define them in order to have some text pronounced with a different voice or different pitch or something like this. So let me show you. Let me find voice alias.
Voice aliases closed.
There we go. Let me open this element of the tree view by pressing right arrow.
Voice aliases open. One
Let
item.
me go down.
Level 1. Customize voice aliases ... 1.
So here it's a dialog that will pop up when I will go ahead and open this option. I can open it by pressing the space bar.
Space. Voice aliases dialog. List 1 list view. All caps voice current voice pitch plus 50%. 1 of 34. To move to items use the arrow keys.
Okay, and now we have a couple of voice alias.
Bold voice. Emboss voice current voice. Engrave voice current voice. Graphic voice current voice. 5 of 34. Header voice Samantha. 6 of 34. Heading level 1 voice Daniel. 7 of 34.
Wow. Okay, we have a couple. Now I am using Vocalizer. Expect to maybe see more if you go ahead and install Eloquence. Not install, but activate Eloquence. There's a lot as well. But let me create a new alias just to show you how it is possible to create one. So let me press tab.
Add button. To activate, press spacebar.
Then I can add if I press tab again.
Modify button.
I can modify an existing voice alias.
Delete button. To activate.
And I can delete one.
Okay. List.
So
Add button.
let me press tab until add. There we go. Pressing spacebar.
Space. Voice aliases dash voice aliases dialog. Add voice alias dialog. Voice alias name colon edit. Type in text.
Okay,
Alt plus
so right here, I need to type in the name of my voice alias. I will type in pay attention. We'll use it later because I'd like to show you how it is possible, let's say, to use this alias when creating a scheme for, let's say, a font larger than a certain amount of point, or if I want to get a text read out to me when with a different voice when it is, let's say, red. So let's go ahead and type in pay attention.
P-A-Y space A-T-T-E-N-T-U-O-O-U-I-T-T-I-O-N.
Pay attention. There we go.
Voice alias name colon edit. Pay attention.
Perfect. Let me press tab.
Voice alias person colon combo box. Current voice. 1 of 4.
Then here, if I want a different voice, I can select one. However, note that these voices should be inside the same TTS engine. So I'll, knowing that I am actually using the vocalizer, I'm not going to be able to select a voice from Eloquence. So no possibility to change the text-to-speech engine from there. And unfortunately, when creating speech and sound schemes, we'll need to keep in mind that voices should be into the same TTS engine. So if you're using Vocalizer, all your speech and sound schemes should be based on Vocalizer. But if you want to use Eloquence, then you'll have to make some adjustment if you want different voice alias based on the content. So let me go down.
Ava Premium High.
2 of 4.
So now I can select Ava. Yes, I have, I think, additional voices.
Tom Premium High.
Yeah, okay, Tom, because if I change the current voice, even if I'm using Tom right now, well, it's going to be possible to, instead of saying, okay, use the current voice, no, fix it to Tom, whatever the voice I'm using.
Emily Premium High.
4 of 4.
And because I have a French voice here, this voice also popped up. This is not, however, the case for Eloquence. You'll be stuck with always the same language. This is quite different for Eloquence. So let me go ahead and select Ava.
Ava Premium High.
2 of 4.
There we go. Pressing tab.
Voice alias pitch colon left right slider. 33%.
Then I can set it up as a different pitch level. Let me increase it a bit.
30%. 29%.
Oops, not the right direction, sorry.
37%, 42%, 52%, 62%, 72%.
Okay, let's do it this way.
Voice alias speech rate colon left right slider, 24%.
And I can even change the speech rate. So let me, for example, decrease it a bit.
34%, 44%, 14%.
Okay, maybe not.
24%.
Okay.
OK button.
2.
Voice alias speech rate colon left right slider, 24%.
Anyway, that's just for test. So let's do it this way.
OK button.
So pressing enter on OK.
Enter. Default left paren all applications right paren dash draw settings center dialog. Voice aliases dialog. Add button to activate.
Okay, so now my voice alias is now created. Let me press tab until I find the OK button.
Modify. Delete. OK button. Enter. Tree view. Customize voice.
Then just before creating the scheme, I'll make sure to apply modification to my settings center and even maybe reload it.
Apply button. Enter. Tree view.
Apply.
OK. Enter.
Okay.
JAWS home.
Let me reopen my settings center. Insert 6.
JAWS window.
Control Shift D.
JAWS settings center dash default left parental.
There we go.
Leaving
Pressing
menus.
tab.
Tree view. Level 0. User. Closed.
There we go. Then now let me find out a speech and sound scheme.
P. Speech verbosity. Closed.
Oh, not this
Speech
one.
options. Speech and sound schemes. Closed.
There we go. So if I open this tree.
Speech and sound schemes. Open. Level 1. Active speech and sound scheme classic. 1 of 3.
Okay, so now the classic schemes is the active one. For sure, I can select another one by either pressing the space bar, but I'll have to turn around between all available schemes, knowing that, yes, just provide a couple of schemes by default, and for sure you can create new one and modify existing one. So, but the easiest way, by the way, if you want to explore the list, will be to press F6. Then instead of spacebar, so if you press F6,
Speech and sounds schemes page. Active speech and sounds scheme combo box. Classic. 2 of 22.
there we go. Then now I can use arrow keys.
Classic. Classic. Attributes and colors. Classic left paren attributes and font info
Okay,
right
so
paren.
there's a couple.
Attributes
Let
and
me come back to classic.
Classic. 2
There
of
we
22.
go. I'm done. I can press Shift F6 to came back to the tree view.
Shift F6. Tree view. Active speech and sounds scheme classic. 1 of 3. To move through or expand items, use the arrow keys.
Here we go. Then if I go down,
Scheme description JAWS will behave like prior versions with format and text options switched off.
so here I have a description of the current scheme. By the way, if you are in the list by pressing F6, you can just press the tab key in order to read the current description of the selected scheme. Let me go down again.
Modify schemes ...
Okay, modify schemes. Let me press the spacebar in order to open the dialog allowing to modify schemes.
Space. Classic dash modify schemes dialog. Select scheme combo box. Classic. 2 of 22.
Okay, then here I can select the schemes I'd like to modify. Let me press tab. We are now on the classic one.
Scheme description read only edit. Use your reading keys to read the text. Alt plus R.
Okay, this is the description we saw before.
Edit selected scheme button. To activate.
Then I can edit the selected scheme.
Save selected scheme button.
I can save the scheme after editing.
Save selected scheme as button.
Then I can save as. So instead of editing and breaking a scheme, I'll greatly suggest you to save this one to a different name, so it will generate a copy. Then you'll be able to edit this copy, then activate the copy based on your need, and we'll see that a command exists allowing to change the active scheme by simply pressing Insert Alt S as in scheme or Sierra. We'll talk about it later on. So let me continue pressing tab.
Create new scheme button.
Then you can also create a new scheme from scratch. I'll not suggest you to do this, knowing that sometimes if you do this, you may encounter some issues with, let's say, reading capital letters and things like this, because you'll start a new scheme from scratch. So I'll greatly suggest you, if a scheme is okay for you, just to save it as. Then you can now edit it. It's going to be less complicated to do it this way. Pressing tab.
OK button.
The OK button when done.
Select scheme combo box.
And we are now back to the beginning of the dialog box. By the way, I'd like to let you know that you can assign a different scheme for each application. So you can assign a different scheme for Word compared to, let's say, Notepad, etc. You're free to do so. So we are in Classic. Let me start by save this scheme as.
Select scheme combo box. Classic.
Here we go. Pressing tab.
Scheme edit select. Save selected scheme button. Save selected scheme as button.
There we go.
Enter.
Enter.
Modify schemes classic dialog. Save as dialog. File name edit combo. Classic.smf.
Okay, all schemes are SMF files. By the way, they will be located in your app data folder, roaming, Freedom Scientific, just the version number, settings, then ENU for English US or another language code. Then you should be able to see these files. By the way, you can always delete one if the file is not, or the scheme is not working properly. So let me call it simply as test.
TEST.
Pressing enter.
Enter. Default left all applications right JAWS settings center dialog. Test modify schemes dialog. Save selected scheme as button. To activate, press spacebar. Alt plus.
Okay, let me go back to the list, making sure that test is selected.
Edit selected. Select scheme combo box. Test.
There we go. Let me edit the scheme.
Scheme description: read. Edit selected scheme button. Enter. Modify schemes test dialog. Test edit scheme dialog. General page. General page. Scheme description: edit. Type in text.
Now we are in the general tab. We can enter a description for the scheme.
Blank.
So let me type in test for a podcast.
TEST period.
There we go.
Test for a podcast.
Then if I press tab.
OK but cancel but general tab.
So that was the only item in the general tab. Let me show you the other tabs.
Control type tab. To switch pages, press Control plus page.
Control type. So we'll see later on what we have there. Let me press tab just to show you quickly.
List 1 list view. 3 state buttons. Speak control type using normal voice. 1 of 84.
So we have 84 different control possible. Let me go down quickly to show you.
Body speak control. Button speak control. Button drop downs. Button drop. Button list. Button menus. Cell speak control. Checkbox. Clock speak control. Column speak. Column headers. Context menu speak.
Okay, so we have many of them. Let me press tab just to show you how looks like the tabs.
Speak control type radio button check.
So for a specific control, I can adjust if I want to hear the control, to ignore it, to play a sound or change a voice.
Select voice alias button.
I can, change the voice alias.
Text edit.
Then I can also change the text for a specific control.
Okay, cancel. Control type tab.
There we go. Let me change tab.
Control state tab.
Control state. So what is control state? It is items like a check, selected, things like this.
List 1 list view. AppCTL ignore. Checked speak control state. Closed speak. Collapsed. Current speak. Defaults. Disabled. Draggable. Droppable speak.
You know what it's like? So this is it. Changing tab.
Attributes page. List 1 list view. Speak attribute using message voice. 1 of 16.
Okay, attributes.
Not selected. Default not selected. Deletion speak attribute. Grammar speak attribute. Has comment speak. Hyperlink speak insertion speak attribute. Invalid speak misspelled speak attribute using message.
So these are text attribute you may find sometimes.
Not selected. Normal text ignore. Normal text ignore. 11 of 16.
There's a couple again.
OCR text speak text using font name page. List 1 list view. Default ignore. 1 of 1.
Okay, so based on the font name, we can ask JAWS to pronounce things differently. So let's say that a different voice can be used for Arial, another one for Times New Roman, another one for Calibri, etc., etc. By default, there is always a default value based on ignored. We'll see maybe later on why, but usually you don't need to touch to this value. Then if I press tab, you'll see that some other buttons will be added.
Ignore add button. To activate,
so
press
add,
delete button.
Delete, etc. By the way, in the attribute tab, you have also an add button that you can use if you want to add some other attribute like bold, italic, underline, etc. And that's it. Pressing Control Tab.
Font size page.
So the font size, you can ask JAWS to pronounce things differently based on the font size. I'll show you a bit later on how you can do this.
Color page.
Then based on the color.
Indentation page. List 1 list view.
Oh, the indentation as well?
Justified center. Justified left speak indentation.
So depending the way that the text is indent, like if it is justify, a line left, a line right, center, etc., you can ask JAWS to pronounce it a different way or to give some hints based on this.
HTML page. List 1 list view. Context menu. Speak HTML attribute using normal voice and say has context menu. 1 of 19.
We don't have a lot there.
Controls ignore. Descriptive speak HT. Details speak H. Not details for draggable speak. Droppable speak. Error for speak H. Error message speak. Flow from speak H. Floato speak H.
Okay, these are mostly based on area, so you're not going to be able to find in this tab like headings, links, form controls and things like this. Look at the tab we saw earlier, the control type tab. It's going to be better this way.
MISC page. List 1 list view. All caps speak text using all caps voice. MISC tab. To switch.
And miscellaneous tab.
General.
So this is another one.
Caps lock on.
Oops.
List caps lock not selected. All caps speak text using all caps voice. 1 of 7.
So we have a couple there.
Not selected. Cap speak text using single cap voice. New line speak item using new paragraph speak Quote ignore. Repetition speak item using message voice.
So you have a couple of them, you can play with them. Okay, let me go back into the control
General
type.
page. Control type page. List 1 list view. Contact.
Okay, then let me just show you. We'll find menu bar.
E. Menu speak control type using menu bar speak control type using normal voice.
Okay, menu bar is here. Let me edit this one.
Speak control type radio button checked.
So I can ask just to speak the controls. So now let me show you. I'll just open a notepad.
Cortana N-O-T. Notepad enter.
There we go.
Untitled dash notepad.
Then if I press
Blank.
Alt key.
Menu bar. File. To navigate press left or right arrow.
So we are hearing menu bar and the name of the menu the focus is placed on.
Escape.
Let me
Leaving.
go out of there.
Draw
Pressing
settings
Alt tab.
center dash default left paren all applications right. Speak
There
control
we
type
go.
radio.
So let's say that you want to replace menu bar by a sound or change the way that it is pronounced. You can do it there. So let me go down.
Change voice radio button checked.
Oh, for sure, I can also change the voice. So we can select another voice to pronounce menu bar.
Play sound radio button checked. 3 of 4.
Play sound.
Ignore radio button checked.
Or ignore. So when pressing Alt, if I select ignore, we're not gonna hear anything except the menu, the one that the focus will be placed on. So let me select play a sound just for fun.
Play sound radio button checked.
Pressing tab.
Select wave file button.
So I can click this button, select a wave file.
Enter. Edit scheme dash test dialog. Select sound dialog. List 1 list view. Ascend WAV. 1 of 209.
So I have 209 possibilities, and for sure, if I press tab,
Play button. 2. Browse button.
I can also browse for personalized wave sound.
List 1.
So let me
Lines up
select one.
Boeing 4.1. Browse play button. Enter. Enter.
Oh, not bad, this one.
Enter.
So a talk. Okay, let me press tab.
OK button.
Pressing OK.
Enter. Modify schemes dash test dialog. Test dash edit scheme dialog. Control type page. Control type page. Select wave file button. To activate.
Okay, pressing Shift tab.
Play sound radio button chat. List 1 list view. Menu bar play sound Boeing 4.1. 53 of 84.
Sounds good. The other one that I find a bit annoying is tree view. Maybe we can change the way it is pronounced, so let me find it out.
T-E. Tree view speak control type using normal voice.
Here we go. So let me press tab.
Select voice alias button. Text edit. Type in text.
So if I want to change the way it is pronounced, let's say that I want to hear just tree instead of tree view. We can do it right here. So let me type in the text I want to use.
T-R-E-E.
There we go. Just tree. If I want to change the voice alias that will be used to pronounce tree, I can do it by pressing back tab.
Select voice alias button.
I'm not gonna do it.
Text OK button.
Okay, then I'm done. Let me press OK.
Enter. Default left paren all applications right
you.
paren dash draw settings center dialog. Test dash modify schemes dialog. Edit selected scheme button.
Okay, pressing tab.
Save selected scheme button.
This is really important after we finished editing the scheme to save it. So pressing enter or space unsaved.
Space.
There we go. Pressing tab.
Save. Create new. Delete OK button.
Then pressing
space
on
preview.
OK. Then
No
I need to. Oh,
yes button.
I have a message here.
Draw settings center dialog. Yes button. No button. Do you want to make test the active scheme for default left paren all applications right paren?
Yes, I want.
Yes button.
Let me click yes.
Enter. Tree view.
Then let me press tab to apply my changes and go out of the settings center.
Read. Apply button.
Apply, pressing spacebar.
Space. Tree view.
Pressing tab until OK.
OK. Space.
There we go.
Untitled dash notepad. Edit.
Then now I am in the notepad. I can confirm that the scheme, the active scheme is the right one. Pressing insert alt S.
Select a scheme dialog. List 1 list view. Test. 2 of 24.
All right, sounds good. So test now the active scheme. Pressing escape to go out of there. By the way, if I want to change it for the current app, I can just use up or down arrow. Then select the scheme.
OK button.
Then
cancel. List 1.
Just press enter because in this dialog we only have the list and 2 buttons, OK and cancel. Pressing escape to go out of there.
Escape. Edit. Type in text.
Then now I am in my notepad, as you may know.
Title is untitled dash notepad.
There we go. Then if I press the Alt key.
File. To navigate, press left or right arrow. F.
Here we go.
Edit. E.
So that's the sound that replaced the message menu bar.
Escape.
Pressing
Leaving.
escape. Let's do it again. Pressing Alt.
File. To navigate, press left or right arrow. F.
Fantastic.
Escape. Leaving menu bar. Edit.
Then let me go into my File Explorer, Windows E.
Windows E. This PC. Items view list box read only. To move to a
If I press Shift Tab to access the tree view,
tree. Level 1. This PC closed 2 of 3.
so much faster, just 3 instead of tree view.
Shell folder view.
Let me press
Items
tab.
view multi-select list box. Folders expanded. Not select.
There we go. Pressing Shift Tab again, just to make it here.
Tree. Level 1.
There we go. Then even, yep, I can do it this way. Let's
Alt
say
F4, untitled.
going there, pressing Insert J to go into my JAWS window.
JAWS Home Use.
If I press Alt,
Options. To navigate, press left or right arrow.
so for the menu bar, we can now hear a sound. Pressing Escape to go out of there.
Escape. Leaving menu.
Perfect. Let
Untitled
me go ahead and close my
Alt
notepad as
F4.
well.
JAWS Home.
Okay, perfect. Then now I'll show you how it is possible to go ahead and assign a specific voice for a specific font or a color. So let me go back and edit my scheme, pressing Insert 6 to open my settings center.
JAWS window dash JAWS settings center.
Pressing Ctrl Shift D,
JAWS
select
settings
the
center dash
default.
default left paren all applications right paren. Menu. English left paren Canada right paren dash US keyboard. To move through items press up or down arrow. E. Leaving menus. Tree. Level 0. User. Close.
Okay, yeah, it's happened sometime when pressing Ctrl Shift and the letter that the keyboard changed as well.
Title is JAWS settings center dash default left.
But I am now in the right file. Okay, and by the way, when we press Tab, we observe that instead of tree view, we heard tree. If I press Insert Tab,
Tree. User. Closed.
I can confirm. There we go. So let me find back the speech and sound scheme option.
P. Speech and sound schemes. Closed.
There we go. Open with a right arrow.
Speech. Level. Scheme. Modify schemes dot dot dot.
Then modify scheme, pressing spacebar.
Space. Test dash modify schemes dialog. Select scheme colon combo box. Test. 18 of 23.
We'll continue modifying tests. By default for Word, this is not the classic scheme, but Word classic scheme. For sure, if you want to do some modification and adapt them to Word, I'll greatly suggest you to find out the Word classic, then save it as, then modify it. In our case, we'll just activate later on the test scheme and it should be fine. So let me press Tab.
Scheme description colon read. Edit selected scheme button.
There we go. Edit selected scheme.
Enter. Modify schemes dash test dialog. Test dash edit scheme dialog. General page. General page. Scheme description colon edit. Type in text. Alt plus D.
We still have
Test for a podcast.
the description here. Okay, let me find a font.
Control
Pressing,
state page. List one.
The tab font name. So pressing Control Tab.
Attributes. Font name page.
There we go.
List 1 list view. Default ignore. 1 of 1.
Fantastic. Then let me press the Tab key in order to add a font.
Ignore radio button. Add button.
Add it.
Enter. Edit scheme dash test dialog. Add font dialog. List box at Malgun Gothic. 1 of 264.
Now we have choices for all the fonts available. So let me find out Arial.
AR. Agency FB. Arial black. Arial. 29 of
There
200.
we go. Pressing Tab.
Next greater button.
Next.
Enter. Select behavior dialog. Behavior speak item radio button checked. 1 of 5.
Okay, now I can select the behavior for Arial. In order to do so, I can only use up and down arrow keys.
Behavior speak item text using voice radio button checked. Behavior play sound radio button checked. Behavior read item text in different language radio button checked.
Oh, that's nice. So you can assign a different font for a specific language and have the text read in this language instead. Okay, I'm not going to do this, but anyway.
Behavior ignore radio button checked.
Or ignore. This is not really appropriate here.
Behavior speak item radio button checked.
Okay, so let me speak the item. But
Next greater button. To activate.
Next.
Enter. Select voice alias dialog. List 1 list view. All caps voice current voice pitch plus 50%. 1 of 35. To
Okay, now.
bold voice inbox.
I
Engrave voice.
can-
Header voice Samantha. Home. Not selected. Bold. All caps voice current voice pitch plus 50%. 1 of 35.
Well, okay. We don't have any alias with the current voice without any modification.
End. Underline voice.
But I have no
Type
choice
superscript
to
voice
select
current
one.
voice. 33 of 35.
Oh, there we go.
Subscript voice current voice. 32 of 35.
Okay, let me select this one. Anyway, if you are unable to find an alias with the current voice, for sure don't hesitate to go ahead and create one. So let me press Tab.
Next greater button. Enter. Optional text dialog. You have the option to supply text that will be spoken when the item is spoken. Enter text if desired. Optional text : edit. Type in text.
Yes, now I want to enter the text that I'd like that the voice speak. So each time we'll be reading some text in Arial font. Let me add Arial simply.
Arial.
There we go. Pressing tab.
Finish button.
And finish.
Enter. Modify schemes - test dialog. Test - edit scheme dialog. Font name page. Font name page. List 1 list view. Arial speak font name using subscript voice and say Arial. 1 of 2.
There we go. This is it. Let me press Control Tab in order to select
font size page.
The font size tab, and from there we'll make it this way. I'd like that all font equal or greater than 16 be spoken with my voice alias that we've created earlier. So in order to do so, let me press tab.
Ignore radio button check. Add button. To activate, press spacebar.
Add.
Alt enter. Edit scheme - test dialog. Add font size dialog. Font size : edit. 10. Type in text.
Okay, here is a value that we'll need to type in. And this one is the value if the font is equal or lower than this value. Something will happen. So if I want that all fonts greater than 16 be spoken with a different voice, I'll need to enter the maximum font I can. So all text with a font size equal or lower than this value will be spoken with my voice alias. So let me type in 100. We'll see if I can use this value.
100.
Pressing enter.
Enter. Add font size - add font size dialog. Settings center dialog. Enter an integer between 1 and 72.
Okay, so it's not working. Pressing enter.
Enter. Settings center dialog. Enter. Edit scheme - test dialog. Add font size.
Yeah, I don't know why, but the error message popped twice.
Blank.
So
blank.
Let me type instead 72.
8 blank. Set 2. Enter. Select behavior dialog. Behavior speak item radio button checked.
This is not the one I want. Pressing down arrow.
Behavior speak item text using voice radio button checked.
Yeah, this is what I want. Pressing tab.
Next greater button. Enter. Modify schemes - test dialog. Test - edit scheme dialog. Font size page. Font size page. Add button. To activate, press spacebar. Alt plus A. Edit scheme - test dialog. Select voice alias dialog. List 1 list view. All caps voice current voice pitch plus 50%.
Bam.
1 of 30.
Here I can select my voice alias. So let me press pay.
P. Pay attention Ava premium high
P,
pitch plus 100.
Yeah, for pay. Okay. Pay attention. So P for pay attention. Pressing tab.
Finish button.
Then finish.
Enter. Modify schemes - test dialog. Test - edit scheme dialog. Font size page. Default
Okay,
ignore.
so now I have 2 values in my list.
72 speak text using pay attention. 1 of 2.
But okay, and the default which will be ignored. However, knowing that all font size equal or lower than 72 will be spoken with this voice, all text will be spoken with this voice. So let me add another condition.
Speak text with this size using voice radio button checked.
Pressing tab again.
Select voice alias button. To add button. To active.
Add another one.
Enter. Edit scheme - test dialog. Add font size dialog. Font size : edit.
So here I need to put in 15.
1 5.
Because I'd like to ignore all font because my value to change the voice is 16. So all font size equal or lower than 15 we should ignore. So pressing enter.
Enter. Select behavior dialog. Behavior speak item radio button checked.
No, I'll need to select ignore.
Behavior ignore radio button checked.
There we
5
go.
of 5.
Pressing
to
enter.
change enter. Modify schemes - test.
Then
7
in my list
15 ignore. 1 of 3.
I have this one.
72 speak text using pay attention. 2 of 3.
This one.
Default ignore. 3 of 3.
And there we go. Next thing I'd like to show you before moving forward is how to assign a specific voice to a color. So let me press Control Tab.
Color page. List 1 list view. Default ignore. 1 of 1.
So we have only one, the default. Nothing will happen. Default integrate all colors. So let me press Tab.
Ignore radio add button.
So let me click Add.
Enter. Edit scheme - test dialog. Color dialog. Select foreground color. Select foreground color combo box. Alice blue. 1 of 500.
Okay, so now we need to select the foreground color. I'd like to make all text in red be spoken with a specific voice. So with my voice alias, pay attention. So let me find out red.
R-E. Red 2. Red. 450.
Yes, we have two type of red. Let me select red. That's it.
Enter. Modify schemes dash test dialog. Test dash edit scheme dialog. Color page. Color page. Add button. To activate, press spacebar. Alt plus A. Edit scheme dash test dialog. Color dialog. Select background color. Select background color combo box. Alice blue. 1 of 514.
Oh, okay. And here we have no choice to select one. We need to select the background color. By default, if you just press enter, we'll select the first color in the list, and this is not what we'd like to do. When using Word, by default, if I ask the color of a text by pressing either Insert 5 or Insert F, we'll hear, let's say, default on default or red on default. What is the default color? There's no default option in the list. The default color usually is black. If you want to confirm, you can press Insert 5 twice, and the code for black should be 9 times the digit 0. If it's not the case, then we'll have to find exactly what is the background color and assign it to a color in the list. There is some way, by the way, if needed, to edit manually using the notepad, the SMF file, in order to type in the right color code if needed. So let me find black in my list.
L. Beige. 20 of Blanche Summon. Black.
Here's black, pressing enter.
Enter. Select behavior dialog. Behavior speak item radio button checked.
I want to speak text with a different voice.
Behavior speak item text using voice radio button checked.
There we go.
2 of 5.
Pressing
Next grade enter. Modify
next.
schemes dash test dialog. Select voice alias dialog. List 1 list view. All caps voice current voice pitch plus 50%. 1 of 35.
Let
To
me
move
find pay attention by pressing P again.
P. Pay attention Ava premium high pitch plus 116% rate plus 1%. 23
Okay, perfect. Pressing enter.
Enter. Modify schemes dash test dialog. Test dash edit scheme dialog. Color page. Color page. List 1 list view. Red/black speak text using pay attention. 2 of 2.
Okay, so now on my list, I have a new item, red on black, speech text using the voice, and we have the voice alias name. There we go. I think we're done. Pressing tab.
Speak text. Select voice. Add button. Delete button. OK button.
Pressing OK.
Enter. Default left parental.
Pressing
Save selected
tab.
scheme button. To
Clicking on Save Selected Scheme. Really important to do it.
space.
There we go. Pressing tab.
Save. Create new. Delete. OK button.
Pressing enter on
Tree.
OK.
Modify schemes. ... 3 of 3. To move.
Then let me press
Read only
tab
OK button.
until
Enter.
OK.
Jaws home.
There we go. Now, if I open my Word,
Search bar. R. Word. Enter. Opening dash Word. Document 1
Take a
dash
moment.
Word.
Okay,
Print view.
there we go.
Edit.
now I can verify which is the active scheme. Probably it's going to be Word Classic by default, but we'll change it. Pressing Insert Alt S.
Select a scheme dialog. List 1 list view. Word Classic.
Yes, I was right. So pressing T for test.
T. Toggles T. Test. 2 of 24.
There we go. Pressing Enter to select.
Switch to scheme test. Edit.
Okay, and now we got a confirmation that test is now the active scheme.
Blank.
There we go. So now if I'm typing, I'll go ahead and type in 3 sentences.
T. A. Space. T. A. Space. R. S. T. Space. E. S. E. E. N. C. N. E. S. E. N. T. E. S. C. E. Period. Enter. This is the first sentence. Blank. Enter. H. E. R. E. Space. W. E. Space. G. O. Space. O. Space. E. Space. E. O. N. D. O. N. E. Exclaim. Enter. Enter. A. N. D. N. O. W. Com. Space. T. A. S. Space. Space. T. A. E. L. A. S. T. Space. O. N. E. Period. Blank. Here. This is the first sentence.
Okay, so now
This is the first sentence. Blank. Here we go for the second one. Blank. And now, this is the last one.
So no changes in this text regarding the pronunciation, etc. Let me
Home. A.
go at the beginning of my line and check what's the font. Pressing Insert F.
11 point. Default on default. Calibrate. Normal style. Line spacing.
Okay, perfect. So nothing meet conditions we've fixed in our scheme. So let me
Blank. Here. Blank. This is the first sentence.
grab this sentence.
T.
Then let me select it.
Selected. This is the first sentence.
Pressing Control D in order to access the fonts dialog.
Control D.
Yes, and
Font
Delta.
colon edit. Plus body. Type in tab.
Let me find out Arial.
R. Arabic types. Arial. Arial.
Arial. Pressing Enter.
Print view, blank.
Then if I navigate this text,
Arial, this is the first sentence.
oh, now we have the mention.
Blank.
If I go down,
Here we go for the second one, blank. And now, this is the last one, blank.
if I go up,
Here we go for the blank. Arial, this is the first sentence.
then
Blank. H.
let me
We, here, we, go, for.
navigate by word.
Go, we, here,
Okay, let me go to the previous word.
blank, blank. Arial, period.
So as soon as we enter in a text zone that it is formatted in Arial, we'll be informed about it. Well, we're not gonna obtain any kind of information regarding the default font style, but we were having the default option in the scheme. So instead of selecting ignore, we can select like announce or something like this. So there is some way that can be provided in order to, yes, know that now we are in a text in a certain font, but when we are done with this specific font. So yes, you can also do it. I did not do it here, but yes, you can do it. Now,
Here we go for the second one.
Now let me
Home.
pick up this sentence. Then let me adjust the size, the font size to something higher than 16.
Selected. Here we go for the second one. Exclaim.
Control D.
Control
as in
D.
Delta.
Font colon edit. Plus body.
I'll keep this font. That's fine.
Font style colon. Edit size colon. 4.
Let me press 24.
Size colon. Edit combo. 24.
Enter.
Print view. Blank.
Then if I navigate my document again.
Arial, this is the first sentence.
Okay.
Blank. 24 points.
Here we go for the second one.
We just heard that the font size was also announced before the text. We don't ask for this when configuring the voice scheme. So what I did in order to fix this, I just reboot JAWS. Sometime if you're facing some issues with speech and sound schemes, just go ahead and reboot JAWS now.
Blank.
If I browse my text again,
Here we go for the
Blank. Arial, this is the first sentence. Blank.
Here we go for the second one.
here we go. So we can now hear that everything's okay and that the voice alias pre-configured is now used for the text.
E
Just for fun,
R E
now I'm browsing by characters.
Home.
H E H.
Okay,
Hotel.
let's go ahead and select the sentence.
Selected.
Here we go for the second one. Exclaim.
And I'll go ahead and change the font for 16 just to confirm.
Control D. Font colon edit. Font style colon. Edit. Size colon. Edit combo. 24. 1. 5.
Oops.
5. 6.
1 6. Okay.
Print view.
Normally we should still hear the voice change.
Blank. Arial, this is the blank.
Here we go for the second one.
Here we go.
Home. Selected.
Here we
Let me
Control D. Font.
put it to 15. We
Size
should
colon.
now be back to the normal voice.
Font color. Size colon. Edit combo. 16. End. Equal. 1. 5. Arial, this is the first sentence. Blank. Here we go for the second one.
Here we go. So now each text with a font size equal or higher than 16 will be pronounced with a different voice. Now,
Blank. And now, this is the last one.
let me select last.
Now, this is the selected.
Oops.
Last selected.
Okay, there we go. And let me put this text in red.
Control D. Font
so
colon
let me
edit.
go in font, Control D.
Size. Font color. Underlines.
Oops, font color.
Font color left paren automatic
There
right
we
paren
go.
button.
Pressing enter. Then let me go
Font.
ahead and select the right one.
Orange.
Let
orange.
me go
Orange.
into,
Orange.
1 second. Let me find the basic color. It's going to be better, I think.
More colors. Dot.
No, not this one. Let me...
Standard colors.
Okay,
Green
standard
button.
color.
Not
There we go. Let me find a red using right arrow.
purple grid.
Where is red?
Dark red grid. Red grid.
No,
60.
not... Oh, yeah, I'll make sure to select red and not dark red.
Document
Dark
1-1.
red. Sorry, because this is a different color. There we go.
Size colon.
So-
Edit combo.
Oops.
11. To set the value.
Yeah, that's
Font
fine. Okay, I just
Size.
need to press enter here. Okay,
Print
there
view.
we go. So
Blank.
now,
And now, this is the
last.
one.
Okay, fantastic.
A.
So let's say that
Is
I am
this
placed on this.
11 point default on default
Okay, this one is default on default. If I press insert 5, I can also confirm.
default on default
There we go. Pressing control right arrow to go to the next word.
is the
Last.
Perfect. If I press insert 5,
red on default
red on default, insert F.
11 point red on default.
Here we go. And by
Blank.
the way, let me go up.
Here we go for the second one.
I just want to show you something
Home.
else. I'll select the sentence.
Selected. Here we go for the second one.
Pressing Control D.
Control D. Font colon edit. Plus body.
Let me put this into Arial.
AR. Arabic type. Apparat. Arial black. Arial.
There we go. Pressing Tab.
Font style colon. Size colon. Edit.
And let me put it to 20.
0. Print view.
Okay.
Blank. Arial. This is the first sentence. Blank.
Here we go for the second one.
This is normal. We are not hearing Arial because we are still in an Arial zone. Let me go down, then up.
Blank. And now, this is the
Last.
one.
If I go up,
Blank. Arial.
Here we go for the second one.
okay, there we go. So now I can hear Arial and the high-pitched voice that is reading me out the text. So there we go.
Blank.
If I go up,
This is the first sentence.
I am still in my Arial zone, so I'm not going to be prompt for Arial. If I go
Blank.
down,
Here we
Blank. And now, this is the
last.
one.
But
Blank.
going up,
Arial. Blank.
going down,
And now, this is
going up with Control Home,
top of file. Arial, this is the first sentence.
So yes, I have all this possibility.
Here we go for the second one.
Yeah, and this is normal when going down that Arial will not going to be pronounced because I am still in an Arial area. But
Blank.
let's see that between both sentences.
This is the first sentence. Blank. Enter. T-E-S-T. Auto E-S. Space. T-E-S-T. Period. Enter. Test misspelled test.
Oh.
Home. Misspelled test. Misspelled T. Space. Miss-E-F-T. Space. Miss-E-F-T.
Okay, I
Period.
don't know why.
Blank.
Probably. Oh, yeah, I think I know why. Because I have more than once the same word.
Blank. Arial.
Here we go for the second one.
So now
Blank. Test misspelled. Blank. Arial, this is
I just had a line of text between both lines.
blank. Test misspelled test. 11 point. Default on default. Calibrate.
This is Calibri. So if I go up,
Blank. Arial, this is the first sentence.
if I go down,
Blank. Test misspelled test.
no indication because default font doesn't provide any indication.
Blank.
Going down,
Arial.
Here we go for the second one.
Blank. And now, this is the
Last.
one.
So this is the kind of thing you can do, and for sure the voice can be different. The voice alias can be different depending on the font size and the color. So I can select a different one. I selected the same for the color and the font size, but for sure I can select a different one. All right, I think we're now done with the voice schemes. By the way, if you want to hear sound for a heading when navigate on the web, yes, you can do it using voice schemes. However, I'll greatly suggest you to just go into a web navigation setting in the settings center because you'll find already an option allowing to turn on sounds for navigation by heading, just saying. So thank you very much for listening. If you have some question, comment, or would like to suggest a topic for next episode, don't hesitate to contact us. By the way, I'd like to thank Josue Coudé. He is a listener of our podcast, and he is the one who suggests us to talk about speech and sound schemes in JAWS. So thank you very much. Also, don't forget that we can still offer private and group training. So don't hesitate to contact us. We'll be more than happy to provide you with a quote based on your need. Thank you very much for listening. This was Alexandre Bellemare, and talk to you later in another podcast episode. Before the end of this podcast, I would like to say thank you for your loyalty to this series of podcasts on assistive technologies. I would also like to thank our loyal collaborator. As a reminder, I would like to inform you that Canadialog will not provide free technical support on product presented during these shows and that are not sold directly by Kenny Dialogue. Please note that our podcasts are now available on our website, YouTube, iTunes, as well as on Victor devices by consulting the North American English suggested podcast list from Humanware. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can contact us via email at podcastwithiness@kennydialogue.com. That is PODCASTS at CANADIALOG.com, or by phone on our toll-free number at 1-888-730-0003. Again, 1-888-730-0003, extension 555, extension 555. I also invite you to visit our website, which contains a lot of useful information at www.kennydialogue.com. You can also visit us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Thanks for listening.